we're almost, as professionals, we're trained to kind of minimize and really just put into a few words who we are, but we are way more than a few words, right? And way more than a few situations and a few scenarios in our life. So that's really interesting that you've mastered that so well. And I think that's because of your career of speaking and of being an actor. You know, being an actor, it is that case of, you know, first impressions, and it's like you've got to do it. You've got to do it in like 10 seconds.
You got to know who you are. Like, you got to, I've been in the industry for a long time. Like right now I'm great. You know, I'm starring on 3 different shows, and, you know, I'm supposed to be doing a lot if it wasn't for this pandemic here, but it's like, I didn't get a lot of roles because I didn't know who the hell I was. You know, I was trying to be something I'm not. And so I'm not an expert at anything. I'm a experienced speaker. I'm an experienced actor, but I'm an expert at myself, like in who I am. And yeah, that's just, I know me. You know, I know me because I knew what it felt like pretending to be something I wasn't. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So yeah, it's just like when you master yourself, everything else kind of falls into play.
You said I didn't get a lot of roles because I didn't know who I was. That speaks absolute volumes. I actually have an acting background myself, and I yeah, but I felt like acting and the theater world specifically wasn't for me because I felt like I always had to fill in someone else's shoes. But now that you say it how you say it, it's almost like you had to dive into yourself even deeper to play another role. Can you just actually break that down? Like the philosophy of that is, and the psyche is insane.
You know, like, so this, I'm gonna geek out with some actor stuff. I mean, and you in London, you in the UK, like a lot of my favorite actors, you know what I mean, are from that part of the world. The way y'all approach the craft of acting up in London, like, I love it. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got so many British African actors who come to the US and master Black roles because of the training. So first off, like, I admire that level of craft and appreciation for the art. And what that does is when you step into somebody else's shoes, it's like, you got to be empathetic. You know what I mean? Like, one of the characters I played in the show I just finished, he's an asshole. Like, he's a he's a dog. He's after another man's woman. And I have to be like, yo, why would somebody do that? You know what I mean? Like, why would somebody do that? And how would I justify that? So you got to be really empathetic with all the characters you're playing. Like, you can't be judgmental. And that's true for life. Like, we judge ourselves a lot. We judge other people. But as an actor, you can't judge your character. Everything your character's doing is for a reason. It's for a purpose. And it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else, but it makes sense to your character. So it just, I really like, I enjoy that because it forces you to think like, yo, I would never do that. Not me, not Monty. I would never do some of the stuff my character's doing. But it forces you to dig deep. Why would somebody in real life, if this person existed, why would they do that? And then how would you do it in that same situation? You know, so it's fun. You know, Stanford Meisner, he's a great acting teacher. He's one of the greatest. He has this quote. It says, acting is living truthful under imaginary circumstances. So that's all it is. It's living truthful under this pretend circumstance, which, let's be real, we do every day, and especially as kids, we pretend, and even as adults, we pretend the world is something it's not. We pretend to be something we're not, oftentimes to fit into the roles that allow us to operate within the circles and around the people, you know, that are around us. So I love it. It's a lot of work, but it just, you know, it makes you empathetic of other people a lot.
For sure. I don't want to skim past your childhood and your upbringing, because this is actually a big part of this podcast, is diving into the story of what made you who you are. But I do remember that you said something when I came to watch you being interviewed on a TV show. What channel was that again? Pardon me.
Oh yeah. Yo, you were down here in LA. Yo, it's been so much. It's Fox. Yeah,
that was this year. Believe it or not.
Yo, there's a lot. There's too much going on in 2020, right? But it's called it's foxsoul.com. Yeah, it's
That's right.
Yeah, Fox Soul. So it's a urban and predominantly Black network that gets to amplify and highlight Black voices in the entertainment industry.
Amazing. And we will get round to that specific, you know, what it stands for. But what I did take from that, I remember you said something like our experiences,
Mm.
we often say our experiences shape us, but you said the reverse of that. Can you quote
Yeah.
yourself again?
Oh, okay. Okay. So we about to drop some gems on the listeners out there. All right. Our experiences. First off, we don't look like our story. That's one thing people gotta understand. We don't look like our story. So like if before meeting me, like you knowing me now, I'm an educated Black man with 2 college degrees, well, a business owner. I travel. I do all that stuff. But you wouldn't know that my mother was a prostitute and a drug addict. You wouldn't know I was suicidal and I suffered I suffered depression deeply. You wouldn't know that because we don't look like our story. And we have this idea that our stories and our experiences form who we're going to become. And part of that is true, but if it's true, then how could I be a positive, influential person if I've only had negative experiences growing up? Like I don't have many positive childhood memories that I could be like, oh, that was a nice moment. I don't. I have a lot of trauma, right? So if our experiences form us, I should be a broken down person. But our experiences don't form us, they inform us. So everything we experience, it's information. It's if you've been abused, the information you're getting is what it feels like to be abused and what not to do to somebody else. And even in our careers, you don't experience failure so you're formed into a failure. You experience failures so you can learn the lessons that only that failure could have given you. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's a mind shift and a paradigm shift to be like, even though I'm going through something tough, that doesn't form me. It's information. It's an experience. And if you can grow from that experience, that negative situation can become a source of strength later down the road.